You used to call me on my cell phone late at night when you need someone. Call me on my cell phone late night when you need someone. And I know when that hotline ring, it can only mean one thing. And I know when that hotline ring, that can only mean one thing. Ever since I left the city, you put on less and try to go out more. Wish I knew more words to this freaking song. Every time it comes on, I just shrug my shoulders like a white man dancing. You used to call me on my cell phone. Bop, bop, bop. What's up, everybody? Here's another hit piece from the mainstream Presstitute media, Fox 35 in Orlando. Here's their headline. First of all, armed fishermen's been around for years. There's a law, 790.25, the same law that allows policemen to open carry their firearms. There's another subsection in there that allows the citizen to open carry their firearms while going to and from hunting, fishing, or camping, which is exactly what Soloyaker has been doing for years now. First he was Soloyaker, now he's the armed fisherman. Um, Listen to this headline. Armed fisherman promotes Florida's gun law loophole. It's not a loophole, you prostitute. Shame on you. You're using your First Amendment to demonize the Second Amendment. One day, Soloyaker was fishing and some dudes attempted to rob him. So he didn't have self-defense on him, it was in his car. Then he realized you can open carry while hunting, fishing, or camping or going to and from such an expedition. He's won in court. He's been put on the ground. Miami, I don't know which Miami PD, but one of the Miami law enforcement went up to them on the pier and they had the law in their hand, but instead of reading the law, they pointed guns at everybody, disarmed everybody, put everybody in handcuffs, and then got destroyed in court looking like morons. So, as of July 1st in Florida, you can conceal carry a weapon now without a permit or a license. What's the difference? Permit is something short term, license is something long term. So when you hear people say permit, no, it's actually a concealed weapons license. It was lasted for 10 years. Now, DeSantis has got rid of that, which is fine. Too bad he should have just made complete open carry constitutional carry. And I don't know why they call it constitutional carry, because if we had constitutional carry, you'd be able to open carry like almost every other state. Well, the problem is police don't know the law. They don't read the law. They don't learn the law. They don't care about the law. They don't care about their own policies. And they don't care about you. They're worried about them getting home at night, them retiring with your money, them receiving your money at the end of every week, even though you don't volunteer that money to them. It's taken to you under threat, duress, and coercion. You have to pay them. It's basically racketeering. When you have to pay someone in return, and in return for what service? The courts have already ruled they have no obligation to protect you. So even though they force you to pay them under threat, they have no obligation to do anything for you. So you could call them all you want. They do not have to respond. But you know when they do respond, not during school shootings, they respond when someone has the gall to exercise their rights and open carry a firearm as enumerated in the Second Amendment. Right to keep and bear arms. So right away with this headline, armed fisherman promotes Florida's gun law loophole. The term loophole is a buzzword for gun grabbers. They also call the gun show loophole. It's not a loophole. It's a private sale from one private citizen to another. It's not a loophole. That'd be like saying, oh, John's taking advantage of the car sale loophole by selling his car to another individual instead of going through the government to sell it to another individual, which you still have to go through the government because they have to put their unconstitutional license plate on there, their unconstitutional slave card permission to travel the roads you already pay for. The whole thing is a racketeering scheme, and they don't have to protect you if they don't feel like it. So, Sanford, Florida. Floridians can now carry a firearm without a permit in most places, as long as the weapon is concealed and they're not a felon. However, some are still pushing the envelope. Exercising your Second Amendment is pushing the envelope. Using a loophole, it's not a loophole, it's the law. Using a loophole in a state law to carry guns out in the open. A YouTube video shot in Sanford a couple years ago shows Michael Taylor, the so-called armed fisherman, so-called, that's his name, the armed fisherman. That's the name of his channel, and that's literally a description of what he does. He fishes and he's armed fisherman. It's not so-called. So, walking down the street, he's armed with 2 guns and a fishing pole. I have an AR or either AR rifle, AR pistol across my chest, and I have a Glock 23 on my hip and a fishing pole. And sometimes I carry a flag just to let people know I'm a patriotic guy. Taylor told Fox 35 News. By the way, armed fisherman Soloyaker right here is putting out the full video, even though they didn't. They want you to subscribe to their garbage app to watch the rest of the video. He gets surrounded by police officers responding to a call someone made about him, but they eventually let him go. Well, they had no right to detain him in the first place. How come you didn't bring that part up? The Sanford Police Department didn't want to have an interview with Fox 35, but says since the officers have received additional training on the matter and that they'll continue to respond to any calls for service from citizens concerned about their safety, unless it's a school shooting. Uvalde, Stoneman, Majority, whatever that school was in Florida where they just stood outside. And that cop got off that just sat outside and did nothing because, again, Castle Rock versus Gonzalez, Heller versus DC, and several others, police have zero obligation to protect anybody, and you can't sue them for not protecting you, but they will force you to pay them even though they don't provide the protection in return. According to Florida law, you can open carry if you're on your way to go fishing. Michael Taylor records similar videos all over the state and posts them to YouTube. Things have gotten tense before. In one video he made in Miami Beach, you can see officers approach him with their weapons drawn. Taylor says he used to be a professional fisherman before he learned about this law. One day I was fishing late at night under a bridge and 2 guys walked down on me and tried to rob me. And my gun was in my car, Taylor said. Now he says his goal is to educate people about Florida gun laws. For now, it's something law enforcement has to work around. It's something law enforcement has to work around? What do you mean that law enforcement has to work around? They swore to preserve and protect and defend this right. It's not a workaround. It's work with and promote and defend and protect this right. It's not a workaround. This is why I say they're prostitutes. Roland said he had to deal with that sort of thing before. Oh, I'm sorry. The challenge for the officer is also the unknown, not knowing whether this person actually has good intentions or not. You don't know if any person has good intentions or not. Doesn't matter if they're armed. Said Orlando Roland, who used to be the city of Orlando's police chief. Roland said he's had to deal with this sort of thing before, and officers had more training over the years on how to deal with it. I strongly urge citizens who may not approve of this excuse me, I just ate a bunch of dormadas. I strongly urge citizens who may not approve of this if they want to bring about change to make it known and have legislation change, Roland said. To change the Second Amendment. If people have a problem with the right to keep and bear arms, they need to talk to their legislators about overturning the Second Amendment, is what he's saying there. I do feel for the people that are a little squeamish to see me like that, Taylor said, but also I want to say, the same thing with law enforcement. Are they so scared of law enforcement carrying their guns? No, because it's all about perception. Those guys are been beaten into your head that those are the good guys, when in fact, anyone with any research who scratched the surface a little bit knows that cops are not the good guys. As a matter of fact, I've tried to file 10 police reports over the past 3 weeks, and I can't get it done for some reason. And when the dude finally sent me a letter saying, oh, we've investigated, and no one did anything wrong, even though I have it on video. Let's see here. We're fueling the fire when individuals just testing the system to see if they can or cannot get away with something that they're trying to prove. What are we trying to prove? That you swore an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, and you consider it testing the system? It is a test. You failed. The Presstitutes failed. So here's some of that news clip from Fox 35.
A loophole in the law allows some people to openly carry weapons in Central Florida. Now, one man is
all of Florida, not Central Florida,
using that loophole to walk around in public.
He's using the loophole. See, everything she says is slanted and biased and BS. And Fox is supposed to be the conservative channel, right?
With an AR rifle. The armed fisherman says it's all to educate people about the law, but the method is raising some safety concerns. Fox 35's Connor Hansen found out how law enforcement agencies are changing protocol to
there's far more safety concerns with cops carrying guns than Soloyaker carrying guns or the citizens of this country carrying guns. And now anyone who's not a felon can conceal carry a firearm on them in Florida. So what are you going to do? Stop everybody because you don't know their intentions? Anyone you look at in Florida could have a gun on them legally. Is that a problem? It's only a problem if you actually can see the gun. Unless it's a guy with a magic costume, a cop, he can open carry, but anyone else open carrying is testing the system. They're using a loophole. Presstitute, right there.
To make sure everyone stays safe.
Nice to meet you. Just going fishing.
This is how it typically starts. A man with a fishing pole and a gun gets the attention of law enforcement.
Look up. Are you ready? You might need a pen for this to look up the law.
In this case, Michael Taylor, the so-called
immediately asked for ID, going after his Fourth Amendment right.
Armed fisherman is in downtown Sanford.
And another thing these prostitutes do, why are they blurring out the policemen's faces? These are public servants. Again, they work hand in glove with the police and the government. Media is just another extension. Mainstream prostitute media is another extension of government.
Walking around with two guns.
Now this intimidation.
Again, look at them blurring out all the policemen's faces as they're surrounding a constitutionally protected activity, a man exercising his rights under the Constitution, what they're calling a loophole.
Factor just went up. It's like, come on, guys.
He gets surrounded by police officers responding to a call about him carrying the weapons.
Am I free to go or am I free to stay? See you later.
But eventually, they let him go.
Just like
they had no right to stop him to begin with.
This, usually shirts, pants, shorts, and sandals.
Listen, Soloyaker, those are flip-flops, okay? You know, sandal. Put some damn shoes on, man. No one wants to see men's ugly feet. They're flip-flops, sandals. Sandals have like buckles and they'll have a thing behind the heel. You're hardly wearing sandals, and even if you were, that'd be worse than wearing flip-flops. Put on some shoes.
Then I have an AR, either an AR rifle or AR pistol across my chest. I have a Glock 23 on my hip and a fishing pole.
It's now been a couple of years since that encounter here in downtown Sanford. We reached out to Sanford Police to ask about it. They wouldn't do an interview with us, but they told us since then officers have received additional training on the matter.
Why won't they do an interview with you? Why can't police ever defend their actions?
And that they'll continue to respond to any calls for service from citizens who are concerned about their safety.
Unless it's a school shooting.
Taylor says he's been doing this for years. Fox 35 covered this situation back in 2019 in Melbourne Beach when he got the attention of law enforcement there. Things have gotten tense before, like in this video he shot in Miami Beach.
Again, why are they protecting the identities of public servants, pointing guns at someone who's obeying the law?
But Taylor's...
And why don't they mention the fact that cops don't know the law? Everything they're doing is negative bias towards freedom.
Says he's not doing anything wrong. And Florida law states he's right.
Oh my God, and Florida law states he's right. Look at this loophole.
Florida statute 790.25 says a person, quote, engaged in fishing, camping, or lawful hunting, or going to or returning from a fishing, camping, or lawful hunting expedition can openly carry a firearm.
The challenge for the officers is also the unknown, not knowing whether this person actually has good intentions or not.
That's the challenge for us, not knowing which cop has good intentions and which one don't. Because it sure seems like the overwhelming majority of them have bad intentions from the million videos on YouTube of cops acting outside their oath. Everything you say about us can be said about you, except you've proven it to be right, and the very minimal citizens doing it is not right.
Former Orlando Police Chief Orlando Rolone says he's had to deal with this before, and officers have had more training.
He's had to deal with people exercising the rights that he swore to protect.
over the years to
I'm sorry you had to go through that, Rolone.
deal with it. Michael Taylor says he does understand why people might get uncomfortable, but for now, he's going to continue carrying.
No, absolutely. I do feel for the people that, are a little squeamish to seeing me like that. But I also want to say, same thing with law enforcement. Are they so scared of law enforcement carrying their guns?
Where few.
Well, no, because they're wearing a magic costume and they've been brainwashed in school since elementary school that the cops are the good guys, which is so beyond true. It's disturbing.
The fire when individuals are just testing the system to see if they can or cannot get away with something that they're trying to prove.
Testing the system. You swore to uphold the system that he's testing.
Connor Hansen.
Why do cops hate when you exercise your rights so much? They can't deal with it. They just can't deal with it.
In Fox 35 News.
And there is a lot more to this story. We talked to the armed fisherman about exactly what incident prompted him to educate the public about the law. To find out what started this movement, watch the extended version of this story on the Fox Local app. You can look for it in your app store on your smart TV. You can also find it on devices like Apple TV, Android.
If you actually want to hear something, they want you to go and do an extra mile and download an app. Their garbage app.
Android TV, Roku, and Fire TV. Again, the app is called Fox Local, and it can be found on many smart televisions.
And like I said, I do have the entire interview that we had that day at the park. I will be releasing that. That will be the next video. But my whole thing about this is that he actually did a really good job. I'm actually glad that he got, I wish it would have been Sanford.
I'm looking forward to seeing that extended video, but as you can see right here, right now, Fox is straight garbage. They're using loaded language. The cop they put on is an anti-freedom former police chief. The cops who held him on the ground didn't give a comment. The cops who surrounded him didn't give a comment. They blurred out their faces to protect the government. The media is supposed to expose the government. They're not supposed to be in bed with them, which is exactly what they are. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Peace, love, tranquility. John's coin rings. If you want me to give you a video message, say nice effing boots or something, I'm on Cameo now. I don't know if that link's in the description or not, but hit up my Etsy store. I got cool t-shirts. I got awesome silver rings made from 100-year-old coins. And I'm on Cameo now, and Minect. I think I'm on Minect. I don't even know how that works. But thank you so much for watching. Peace, love, tranquility. Have a good day. Bye.